Hi, this is John Pettigrew, and you're listening to Talking Through My Hat, a podcast that explores bookish businesses, the fantastic people who create them, and what those people have learned. I'm a hat wearer, a recovering editor, and the creator of Future Proofs, enabling editors and authors to work better online. To find out more, visit wearefutureproofs.com or follow me on Twitter at John_Pettigrew. Welcome to this week's Talking Through My Hat. Today I'm talking with Justine Solomons, networker extraordinaire and founder of Byte the book, which helps writers and publishers to learn more about the industry and to make connections that will help them in their careers. So welcome to Talking Through My Hat, Justine.
Thanks, John. Very pleased to be here.
It's lovely to have you.
And hello to all your listeners as well.
Yes. So Byte the book's been around for 6.5 years now, which seems to have gone by really quickly. How do you describe it to people who haven't kind of come across it before?
Yeah, firstly, I can't believe it's been 6.5 years. It's flown by. It's flown by, and you've been part of Byte Book since almost the beginning. So it's lovely to talk to you about it. When I talk about Byte the Book is, as you said in the introduction, a network to help authors, agents, publishers, everyone in the publishing industry meet each other. And initially, I set it up to help authors get their books published. Mm-hmm. But and that was the first thing I did, and then I also wanted to educate everyone on technology, and the third thing was connect people with each other and other industries. So I say it's a membership organisation. We've got 400 members, over 400 members, mm-hmm. and we've got 4,500 subscribers. And what we're always trying to do is help people with their business, whether their business is a book, or their business is a literary agency, or it's a technology company, mm-hmm. like Future Proofs, or I want to. So my background is business development. So whenever I'm with someone, I'm trying to help them get new customers, or to help them achieve their business objectives.
Yeah. Okay. And what are the things that you kind of Byte the book does to get people to that point of success?
Well, people join, so it's £120 a year for people to join. Yeah. There's a quick plug there. And we also have student rates and company rates available.
We'll put the link in the podcast description, don't worry.
But I didn't know that this was going to be such an important part of Byte. But the initial thing was to build a brand and get audience, and then work out what the audience wanted. But Byte Book has very much become an events company, and we do lots of events. So we had an event last night. We were just talking about it before we started this discussion now at Home House. So we always have lovely events at gorgeous places. We do stuff at the Ivy and the Groucho and book fairs around the world. Our members get in free to book fairs. But we also, so those events are educating people on the industry, helping people become more literate in the publishing industry. Mm-hmm. And we try and alternate things between events that will appeal to authors and events that will appeal to publishers. Yeah. But both sets of people come to both events. Yeah. Because it's very much about networking. The idea was to help to demystify the industry, but also when we talk a lot about technology. So Byte the book isn't just about Byte, the Y in it. It's not just about tech, but it's about helping people in the digital age. Yeah. So what do you do with social media, or what's the best way of running your business, or how can you meet new audiences, or what tools can you use? So those evening events are one strand, but then we're also doing some breakfasts. Tomorrow morning we're doing an event at the Groucho Club, a breakfast briefing on how to make and distribute your audiobooks. Uh-huh. And we're also doing regular events. So we're doing agent table events now. So one of the key things that authors wanted when we first set up was for authors to meet agents. Yeah. And so authors can submit their manuscripts, and they will be read by two agents and get feedback from two agents. Yeah. So it's really nice. There's just 18 authors and 6 agents, and people get to network in between, and there's breakfast, and
they get in-person kind of direct feedback which is so useful, isn't it? It's rather than just a no, this is not for me, which is the standard.
Yeah, exactly. And it's it's very difficult for authors to get agents to read their work generally. So it's really gold dust for them. And we did an event last couple of weeks ago, and the 6 agents came, and all 6 agents found authors that they were interested in signing.
Oh, that's good. So it's worth it for them as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And later on we'll talk about the things that motivate you, but that's so exciting for me that I see these. So one of the authors was there last night at our event, and she was still jumping around and just going, it's happening. So it's a pretty special thing. Also, we've just relaunched our website. And the idea, I say lots of our members have never been to our events, don't even live in the UK.
Yeah.
And the idea is to extend that networking beyond live events so that people can help each other. They can upload their stuff into the directory. We've got a business directory now, so companies can join and start promoting themselves. But we also want to try and get people, there's a notice board for members so people can start trying to help each other.
Yeah.
Do you remember the reciprocity circle that we did at London Book Fair?
Yeah, I got some names out of it. It was great.
Yeah, I think you got some names that you eventually podcasted with.
Yeah, in fact, as we record this, one of the podcasts that was released or is being released today, as we record in mid-September, was one of those names that I got from your reciprocity circle. So that's great.
Fantastic.
It's worked out well.
Yeah. And that's really, the reciprocity circle is really at the heart of what we're trying to do with Byte the Book. Is we asked everybody to get a request, and then we went round and everyone saw who they could help. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get people to help each other.
That's great.
Or facilitate that helping.
Yeah. So I guess the next question then is, how did you get there? Why did you do this bonkers thing of setting up a publishing networking organisation?
Yeah, I mean, who knew it would be this bonkers? I was doing a novel writing course at City University. So prior to setting up Byte the Book, I ran the business development team for a technology company called Softwire, and they were absolutely brilliant developers. But I wanted to be a writer, and I was doing this novel writing course. And at the end of the year, we organised an event to get agent interest. And rather than doing it at City University, I said, well, everyone put in a bit of money. And we did the event at the Arts Club. Before the Arts Club became posh, when it was kind of tumbled down. And we got loads of everyone got agent interest. And the event was just fantastic. And I thought authors, they've got so many skills that they can offer. So I knew that authors typically, if they get signed, earn something like £11,000 a year. But they're brilliant. So why can't I build a network for people to help each other? And that comes from my business development background. Yeah. And so I said to my husband, and I've been in this job for 9 years, and it was great, but I really wanted to do something for myself. I've got an idea. I'm going to set up a business called Byte the Book. I'm going to set up this network. And he said, okay, I'll support you. He'd worked in advertising. I said, okay, you stay still in your job. And then a couple of weeks later, that job went, and we're like, oh no, what are we going to do? Should we go to Australia? Because I'd saved some money. And then I started consulting in the publishing industry, and I was consulting for one of my clients from Softwire, You.
Right, yeah.
And I was out in Bologna, and I saw the publishers didn't really understand tech. And I thought, fantastic, that's a brilliant book to get everybody to come to our events. Because originally we just had a few friends. I was a member at the Ivy. We had a space upstairs. I said, can we just sit around, see how we can help each other? Yeah. And and then my husband said at the next one, get a speaker.
Yeah, so this is where the speaker strand kind of came from, was it?
Yeah, exactly. So my husband said, why don't you get someone to talk? And so I got this guy, David Getman, who worked for McKinsey and talked about the history of ebooks. I don't know whether you were at that first one, but then someone said to me, for the next one, you've got to get Digital Dan Franklin in. So the first one we had 12 people, the second one 35, and the next one with Digital Dan Franklin, 100 people came.
Okay, that's good growth.
Yeah, and the whole of the publishing industry found out about us. And then I said, okay, we were going to do an event on the music industry. And a friend of mine, who I might mention, David Mansfield, said, I can introduce you to Fergal Sharkey. Did you come to the Fergal
I
one?
wasn't there for that one, no.
Oh, so my friend said, well, I'll sponsor it. And then we started having memberships. And so and my husband was very strict with me. He said, well, we're going to build a brand, but within a couple of months, I want you to identify 3 or 4 revenue strands.
Yeah.
And so that's when we talked about sponsorship and membership and ticket sales and consultancy with those strands.
So how did you go? I mean, as you say, that Byte the Book is a networking organisation. It's for helping people, but it needs to be self-sustaining. It needs to be a business. How did you go about that, kind of putting those two things together, so that they both work?
Yeah. I mean, I think I naturally introduce people to each other.
I can vouch for this.
Yes. I naturally will say, okay, you need to meet this person, and that's just how my brain works. I've got this database in my head, but I also am quite commercially minded. I ran the business development team for Softwire. Their turnover when I started was 650,000. When I left was 7 million, and I was responsible for 70% of it. So I. As
so
well as
you
helping,
could do that side of things, that building.
It's about sales. So I need to get new members. That's a sales job. I need to get people to sponsor events. That's a sales job. Often when I'm doing consultancy for people, that's some kind of business development role. When I'm securing speakers, that's also kind of a business development role. So I was also, when I first started out, and I might talk a little bit later on about mentoring, but I was mentoring somebody who was also mentoring me with kind of peer mentoring, and he got me to work. His father's a very successful newspaper mogul.
Okay.
And I've met some interesting people have helped me along the way, and he got me to break down all my different revenue income by month and kind of look at it and see how things are going, and so I've got people kind of putting pressure on me, but also, like, my husband doesn't want to support me, so I had to make it financially viable.
And it's kind of interesting. You mentioned there you had mentors and you've relied on people. I mean, one of the things I like to ask about is how do you go about learning to run a business better? I mean, it sounds like you're a people person. Everyone who knows you're a people person. But I mean, do you read the business books as well? Do you search the internet for advice, or is it? I mean, what's your kind of take on learning?
Yes, I really resent reading business books. because
resent is a good word.
Because I love reading fiction. So and every other book I read is either unpublished or self-published. Right. So when someone joins, I also try and read their manuscripts if an author joins. Okay. And which means I've read really diverse work. But I have read some self-help manuals. So things like Habits of Highly Effective People. I thought was quite useful, but I'm not massively into that kind of study. I because I find reading such a pleasure. So
you want to read pleasurable things.
I prefer to listen to people. I mean, I found your podcast really useful.
Excellent, thank you.
But I also recently I've been listening to Orna Ross runs something called the Creativeness Club. She runs the Alliance of Independent Authors. And she has this monthly Facebook Live group talking about running a business and how to balance being a creative and running a business. And one of the interesting things she talks about in that, and I found it incredibly motivating. I don't know, it's kind of magical in the way that it works. That she's got something that's happening. I mean, Ally is very successwe're it's quite to learn from successful people. And she talks about being when we're creative, we're makers and we're managers, and then we need to be maximizers as well.
Okay.
And having those 3 different hats. And trying to move from one to the next. So you
consciously kind of changing role time to time.
Exactly. exactly. So I found that really, really useful. Another thing I do is I make mistakes.
Don't we all? Yeah.
I do things that are wrong, and I just think I have an idea for something. Let's see if it's going to work. And
Yep.
sometimes it really works. When I first started, I did lots of book clubs, and I thought that I wanted to connect with the readers, and that was the way to do that. And that I just could never see a way of making that making money.
Yeah.
So I suppose everything I'm doing, I'm trying to work out whether there's profit from it before I do it.
Hmm.
And I resent doing something if I'm not getting profit from it. I mentioned mentors. So
Yeah.
I mentioned David Mansfield. He used to be the CEO of Capital Radio. I don't have a board. Maybe I'll get a board one day. But if I had a board, he'd be my chairman.
Uh-huh.
And he just, I meet him every couple of months. We go out for lunch. He looks at my figures beforehand and says, "Yeah, where's the money?" And whatever. But where's the money?
He's the one who kind of you get to hold an external person to hold you to account periodically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've said before on the podcast. I think that's for me what a board is for. Because when you're running a business, there's no one to tell you no to an extent.
Yes,
because you're in charge. Yeah. But having the board there just to knock you and to say, "Are you really doing what you think you're doing?" can be so important.
Yes, exactly.
Having somebody there.
I also, as a result, I've run that reciprocity circle a few times, and I did it once at the Hospital Club as part of Salon London, and I got a business coach out of it. So someone said, I'll be your business coach. He wanted to publish a book. If you can help me with my books. And so he also, and that was really interesting because his background wasn't publishing. So it was quite cool to have someone else's take on it.
Yeah.
Ellis Watson, who is at DC Thompson, I talked to him about my business, and he was a very nice man. He said to me, "You've built a busy business on soppiness."
I think that was probably a compliment.
It was a compliment. It was absolutely lovely. He said, "If you ever find out where you want to raise some money to do something, come and let me know where the money is, and I will back you." He was an absolutely lovely man.
Yeah.
But he said, "You've built a business on people helping each other," and I think that's a really great thing for Byte the Book, for all our members, but also Byte the Book should be collaborative as well.
And it does sound like you've come at the whole thing with quite a strategic, a very deliberate process. It's for all that, as you say, it's kind of a soppy business. It's a people thing. It's all about connecting people and stuff. Right from that very first thing, you say, you sat down and think, okay, we've got to have some revenue streams. We've got to know what's going on as a business. Do you still think strategically like that in terms of where you want to be next and how you want to build Byte the Book? Do you think where you want to be in 5 years and that kind of thing?
I am absolutely flabbergasted that you think I've been strategic. I don't think of myself as being strategic. I think I'm very intuitive, and I.
Well, shall we say planning then?
Well, I do. I am a planner. Yes, I run lots of events, and so you have to be a good planner. You have to be organised in order to run events. I think my husband has, Daniel. You've met Daniel. He has helped me be this strategic.
Okay.
Because he's the one that says to me, "Okay, where are your revenue streams? We're going to grow audience." He used to. Because he's worked in advertising, but he ran strategy for a company called Blick years ago. So they also had to grow a membership. Yeah. And so he was the one that said, so at the very beginning, we had 70 founder members and he was kind of insistent that we had that. So we'd have a core. And where will I be in 5 years' time? What I'm trying to do now is to think about how to scale the business.
Okay.
So I want it to be the place to come if you want to publish a book, or if you're in the publishing industry and you want to meet people and you want to meet authors and find out about technology. Also, if you want to connect with other industries that can use your content. So we did an event at Google recently with film and TV and gaming. And so I'm interested in connecting people with these other industries that have got money that can use the content. And you asked also about in 50 years' time. Well, in 50 years' time, I'll be 97. So I love Byte Book and I love doing it, but I would like it to be bigger than me. And it is bigger than me. I do have people that help me. It would be fantastic to have a legacy where Byte the book continues, and I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't need to be there to have it run.
So it's kind of to build it into an organisation that doesn't have to have Justine at the heart of it.
Yes,
Will
exactly.
still have its own vitality.
Yeah, but it'd be nice that it has those values of helping people at the heart of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and helping people make money. It's not just soppy.
No,
I'm a very creative person, but actually I'm also quite commercial.
Yeah, as authors, as publishers, we love making great stuff, but we also like making a living. It's kind of important to everybody, you know.
I think publishers are incredibly entrepreneurial. Every single book is a new business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have to present the business case and work out whether it's going to, you have to go and get it signed off by the marketing team and the sales team and see whether it's viable. You talk about connecting with other industries that maybe could license it, and so I mean, we're going to go to Frankfurt, and you're going to. I think this is going to go out after Frankfurt, but don't you get such a thrill when you walk into that messe, and there are all these thousands and thousands of people from all over the world that are just with these fantastic businesses that they're trying to make happen.
And one of the interesting things with, I just say, they like this idea that every book is a business, every book is a startup, as the phrase kind of used to be. And I think, as you say, publishers are used to that, but in a sense they're also not used to it, because they do like to treat every book like a cookie cutter exercise, that it's got to be like something else so that we know it'll work. But that's not how new businesses actually work. If you launch a business exactly like another business, it may well not work. What you need is something new and innovative that hits a new need, or something like that.
Well, yes, I think so. And that's why authors are at the very core of Byte the Book. And I think that lots of our authors can teach the publishers loads of things. So Mark Dawson, for example, was a lawyer before he started publishing his crime books, and he earns thousands. I mean, I think that, I can't remember, hundreds of thousands of pounds a year from the sale of his books, because he understands how to use Facebook. And he also has a course teaching people how to do algorithms. And the publishers, authors speak at our events, and the publishers are sitting there. I've got hands. We're on a podcast, but I'm writing. They're furiously taking notes. And I think you benefit sometimes. I mean, my background wasn't in publishing, and I think I really benefited from saying, well, why does it have to be like that? And so one thing is, why does it have to be like that? And secondly, I'm incredibly curious. So I'm trying to find out, and I'm still trying to find out things.
Yeah, well, I don't think we'll ever finish that one, that job, because publishing is labyrinthine in its complexity sometimes. Yeah.
So we have to collaborate.
Yeah.
That's what we have to work with each, because we can't do things on our own.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, isn't it? Working together is the only way really to get stuff done. If everyone was forging ahead really individualistically, it's not really going to get very far. And you've, as you say, very much exemplified that with Byte the Book. But what is it that you find hardest about it? As you think about, is it that, I mean, I'm guessing probably not the networking and meeting people, but
Some days I don't feel like going out. Some days I really find networking difficult. But not really. No. I think the thing I find hard is business. Thinking about how to scale the business. I am not very good at giving work to other people, because that costs me money. So I have to let go of that in order to move from being a small business where it's largely my endeavors. I have to give work to other people so that I can focus on the things that I'm good at, like selling. Yeah,
the art of delegation.
Yes, exactly. So I quite like admin, but I don't have time for it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I've got to be better at that, I think.
So prioritization as well, there is it, or no. Actually, budgeting looking at the whole how the business. I'm not very good. David Mansfield keeps on going on about having a business plan. And I have written some, but I mean, he actually said to me, "You're running about 4 or 5 different businesses." So that's why it's so hard for you to do. Yeah.
I'm quite autonomous. I like working on my own. I like being by myself, but I'm actually much better when I work with other people.
Right.
And I think I'm learning that. So when I ran the sales team at Softwire, I did it on my own for 6 years, and then we brought in other people. And it's quite difficult for me to do that. And I think that's the thing I found. I've worked with Hermione for a long time with consultancy business, and I've got other people that are helping with, and I always benefit from working with other people, but realize, it's a control thing, I think. And when you're running your own business and you do it well, you worry that if someone else does it, they're not going to do it as well. But then you actually find that they do it better or differently, or they bring something new.
Well, that's it, isn't it? That sometimes you're doing something well, but if you get somebody who works sympathetically with you, that you can work with, you end up, it's that synergistic thing, and it's better than either of you would have done by yourselves, or even than the sum of the parts.
Yes.
You're hoping you just get new ideas, and that interaction can really help, can't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is again back to the core of this cooperation thing that Byte the book is about.
Yes, exactly. A company is more than the sum of its parts.
Great. So then, all we've talked about what you've learned, we've talked about what's hard and stuff. But what's the thing that keeps you coming back to Byte the book every day? When you sit down at your desk and you go, yes.
Oh, those events. I absolutely love having a microphone in my hand.
Standing at the front.
Standing at the front
MC
with this
Justine.
microphone. MC Justine. I did a whole running commentary through the agents' tables because we had to swap every 10 minutes. So it's not, that sounds hideous, but it was quite fun. So I quite like having I love it. To quote the A-Team when a plan comes together, I love it when someone comes up to me and says, I've got an agent. So I saw not just the one that was at the agent tables, but another one that met her agent through Byte the book, and she's just about to get a publishing deal. I've helped people get investment. We have introduced people to new customers. I've been a support to someone said to me, I was in a really bad place and you taught me through it, and you've given me the confidence to do what I didn't know I could do. And helping people really just, I also like making money.
It's a good incentivizer.
That motivates me. So, and making money. So when someone joins Byte the book, they are paying money for something I've made up.
Yeah.
So I've created something, and someone is saying, "Oh, that's a good idea. Yes, can I join?" When I wasn't there, Byte the book didn't exist. It was a fiction. It was something in my imagination.
Yeah.
And it's only when other people interact with it that it makes it real.
Yes. Well, that's a fantastic note to end on. So thanks very much for your time, Justine.
Thank you, John. Thanks. It's been great fun.
And many thanks again to Justine for being on this week's podcast. I love those conversations where you pick stuff up and dig into things you wouldn't really have thought of. And this way that, for Justine, Byte the book is a business built on soppiness, on helping each other, on people helping each other. And I love that. And how helping authors get published is still absolutely central to everything she does. It's that early vision that's still there right the way through, even though Byte the book has broadened out to do lots of other things. But also to complement that, how with everything she does, Justine has that commercial head. She tries to work out how to make a profit from every activity, and even resents doing something if it's not creating a profit for the business. And of course also, it's for all of us, we're not in isolation. So if you're doing entrepreneurship with a family, with people around you, you have to be honest. And as she said, being willing to be held to account by your partner for the plans you've said you're going to do. So that was a really inspiring talk. Thank you very much, Justine. Come back next week for the next episode, and until then, goodbye. This was Talking Through My Hat, a podcast by John Pettigrew, founder of We Are Futureproofs. Please let me know your thoughts by leaving a review at Apple Podcasts or by commenting on the website myhat.wearefutureproofs.com. You can subscribe to this channel at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Our theme music is from hooksounds.com.